18 months ago, homes in some of Wilmington's best-known neighborhoods were getting multiple offers in a week. Today, some of those same homes are sitting 90 days or longer, while a newer home a few streets over sells before it's even fully listed. The difference isn't the neighborhood, it's the house, and it's the choices buyers may have now that they may not have had a year ago. Hi, I'm Kimberly Crouch with eXp Realty, and I've spent years helping people relocate to coastal North Carolina. I look at what's actually moving and what isn't in every community that I work in. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the neighborhoods where older homes are getting passed over for something newer, where those buyers are landing instead, and why builder incentives are pulling them there. And one pocket of the 28411 zip code most relocating buyers haven't even heard of yet. Wilmington isn't one market. It's a bunch of small markets stacked on top of each other. And right now, they're moving at completely different speeds. Some of that comes down to age. A home that was the newest thing on the block 3 years ago is now competing against a brand new one with granite counters or quartz and a builder offering a rate buy down and or closing cost incentives. Other parts of it come down to price point. Once you're spending over $850,000 here, buyers stop overlooking things they'd forgive at a lower price. And the last area I'm going to cover is one most people haven't even considered because it gives you a well-known Wilmington zip code for a price that you'd normally have to go outside of Wilmington to find. Southern Brunswick County, new construction versus almost new resale. If you bought a house in Bolivia, Supply, Charlotte, or Calabash 3 years ago, you might be surprised at what your neighbor down the road is offering right now. Builders in Southern Brunswick County haven't slowed down. New subdivisions keep breaking ground, and to sell those homes fast, builders are doing things resale sellers can't compete with. Rate buy downs, closing cost credits, free upgrades on flooring and appliances. When you add all that up, a brand new home can end up costing a buyer less per month than an existing home that's only 2 or 3 years old, even if the sticker price on the resale home looks lower. This trips up a lot of sellers. You bought recently, your house is barely broken in, and you assume that counts for something. But buyers touring these communities aren't comparing your home to what's already built. They're comparing it to what they can get, what's still being built next door, brand new, with incentives your listing can't match. Here's the misconception. People think gently used and cheaper beats brand new and full price. In Southern Brunswick right now, it usually doesn't, once you factor in what the builder is offering. So where are those buyers going instead? Straight into the new phases of those same communities. As long as builders keep offering incentives, that's where the demand is landing first. If you're selling a near new home there right now, you need a pricing strategy that competes with a builder's whole package. And if you're buying, always ask what incentives are on the table before you assume the resale home is the better deal. But this isn't just happening at the beach. It's happening in one of Wilmington's most popular communities too. And it might surprise you which community that is. Riverlights is one of those communities where the same floor plan can sell for two very different prices depending on the year it was built. Riverlights opened back in 2016 and has been building out ever since. So you have homes anywhere from about 2 to 10 years old sitting a few blocks from crews still framing new ones. You can see them behind me. Buyers touring Riverlights aren't necessarily looking for an established, settled-in street. A lot of them want the newest finishes, the newest layout, floor plan, and no compromises because there's always a newer option a short distance away. When a new phase releases, it pulls attention away from the older sections almost immediately, even when those older homes are priced fairly. This past June, Wilmington as a whole was sitting at about 2.5 months of inventory, with the average home going under contract in roughly 46 days. Inside Riverlights, the resale homes were closer to 4.7 months of inventory and about 72 days on the market. Now that's nearly double the supply and more than 3 weeks longer to sell in one of the most requested communities in town. That gap right there is the squeeze. Here's the honest trade-off though. This isn't Riverlights losing popularity. The community as a whole is still one of the most requested addresses for people relocating here, thanks to the river access, the amenities, and the trails and layout. It's specifically those 2 to 10-year-old homes feeling the pressure because they're competing against builders who can offer incentives a resale seller just can't match. So if you own one of those homes and you're thinking about selling, the fix isn't panic. gimmick at all. They're great homes. It's updates that close the gap, fresh paint, updated lighting, and pricing that acknowledges what's under construction in the new phase. And if you're buying and you want that established feel without paying a premium, that gap is exactly where the value is right now. You've now seen this exact same story play out in two completely different price ranges, from beach town new construction to river lights. It can feel overwhelming to figure out the best area for you. And that's why I've developed a quiz to ask you 11 questions and help you determine where you fit best. It takes 3 minutes and the results are emailed directly to you, and it's completely free. Check it out in the link below. St. James Plantation, Porter's Neck Plantation, and Landfall. $850,000 homes or more with deferred maintenance. Once you cross $850,000, Wilmington's premium communities, buyers stop being so forgiven. I sell homes in St. James Plantation, Porter's Neck Plantation, and Landfall. I show them regularly, and the pattern right now is consistent across all three. Homes that are outdated, that have a choppy 1990s style floor plan, or that have deferred maintenance are sitting. I'm talking about things like an original kitchen that's never been touched, a roof that's due, or a crawl space with moisture issues nobody's dealt with. Down here, crawl space problems are common because of how humid it gets, and buyers spending this kind of money simply don't want to inherit that project. Here's the misconception sellers in these three communities tend to have. They assume the name of the neighborhood carries the price. St. James, Porter's Neck, and Landfall are all well known and well regarded, and that's earned. But at this price point, buyers do the math on what it'll cost to update the kitchen, redo the floor plan, or fix a maintenance issue. And they price their offer accordingly. Or they just move on to the next listing because it's so far overpriced. None of these are bad neighborhoods. It's specifically the dated deferred maintenance homes over $850,000 that are running into trouble, not the communities themselves. So where's the demand going instead? Straight to the updated and well-maintained homes inside these same three neighborhoods. One thing worth knowing, if you're buying in North Carolina for the first time, there's no financing contingency. There's no inspection contingency here. Instead, you get a due diligence period along with a fee that isn't refundable. But that period is your window to get inspections done and find out exactly what you're taking on, so use that time wisely. It's the tool that protects you here, not a financing or inspection clause. If you're selling one of these homes, a pre-listing inspection and a few strategic updates before you list will do more for your final price than almost anything else. Now, here's a spot most relocating buyers haven't even considered, and it might be the best value play in this entire video. Blake Farm and Indigo at Abbey Preserve. If your budget tops out somewhere around $750, but you still want a Wilmington 28411 address, there's a pocket many people haven't heard of yet. Scotts Hill sits along the 28411 corridor just north of Porter's Neck, and it's where two of the newest construction communities in the area are going up right now. Blake Farm, built by D.R. Horton, starts at about $425,000 for new construction single-family homes and about $300,000 for townhomes, and runs up towards $600,000. Indigo at Abbey Preserve by Mungo Homes runs from the upper $500,000s into the mid-700s. Both give you that 28411 zip code without needing the budget you need for Porter's Neck Plantation or Landfall. Here's the misconception. A lot of relocating buyers hear zip code 28411 and assume it means premium community pricing because that's what shows up first when they search. Scotts Hill is proof that's not the whole picture. You get new construction, a shorter drive to the beach, and to Wilmington's north side amenities, and builder incentives that are common in a growing area like this one. And not every home the builders have available is listed online in the MLS that flows to Zillow. It's common for builders to hold some of their inventory back rather than put everything on the market at once. This is the kind of detail I dig into with every relocation client. Exact community, exact price range, exact commute, not just a zip code that sounds right if you're comparing Scotts Hill against Porter's Neck or Landfall. They're built for different budgets and different priorities. It just depends on what matters most to you. I just turned off of 17 right where the bypass comes out in Scotts Hill, and I turned east onto Scotts Hill Loop Road. All right, now coming up on my right here is Scotts Hill Village, and then on my left here is the Indigo at Abbey Preserve neighborhood that I've been talking about. So this is Indigo at Abbey Preserve entrance. It is gated, and this is the Abbey Nature Preserve. The neighborhood has its own private gate entrance to into this public nature preserve area. So this is the neighborhood that I was talking about, where homes start in the upper 500,000s and then go into up to about 750, pushing 800,000. This neighborhood is about a year and a half into construction, and they should be finishing it out within the next year and a half. It's a smaller community. There are no amenities, but they do have the Abbey Preserve access. Back to what I was saying about Topsail Village. It is a community that has existing homes in it, but Mungo Homes is finishing out its last phase in Topsail Village, and they're offering homes similar to what's being built in Indigo at Abbey Preserve, and that community does have amenities. It is in New Hanover County and not Pender County, which does have a tax difference and a school district difference. Coming up on my left, Mungo Homes' next community, which is going to be like a sister community to Indigo at Abbey Preserve with similar homes. So you can see the land is cleared, but they are not starting to build on this land until they are done with Indigo at Abbey Preserve. At least that is what I have been told. That's always subject to change. And then I'm just going to drive down to Sailfish Marina. You're still in Wilmington. You are only about 5 minutes to Porter's Neck, and then you're about 15 minutes to Mayfair and about 20 to 25 minutes to Wrightsville Beach. Then you're also about 30 minutes to Topsail Beach. So Sailfish Marina is the marina I was talking about in some of my other videos. It has wet and dry slips. There is currently about a 2-year wait list the last time I checked, and it costs about $1,500 deposit that you need to put down to get on the wait list. And then once a dry slip opens up for you, the cost right now is about $550 a month for that dry slip. Once you have a dry slip, you get in line for a wet slip, or the wet slips may become available, but you do have to have the dry slip first. That's the boat area. Dry slips, the boat launch, and then there is also a restaurant in here. But this is a really cool spot because you can get your boat in the water. They'll put it in when you call them, and then you can pop down to Wrightsville Beach area in just a few minutes on your boat. Impact on buyers and sellers. So here's how all 4 of these areas connect. If you're buying, the lesson is the same in every single one of them. Don't fall in love with a name before you check what's actually being built around it or what condition the home is in. Southern Brunswick and River Lights are about age and incentives. St. James, Porter's Neck, and Landfall are about condition. Scotts Hill is about finding value in a zip code you may have assumed was out of reach. If you're selling a near new home in Southern Brunswick County or an older section of River Lights, price it against what's currently under construction nearby, not just against other resale homes. If you're selling in St. James, Porter's Neck, or Landfall, and your home needs work, get ahead of it with a pre-listing inspection and updates before you list. Now, you just saw how a $700,000 budget can land you a brand new home in Scotts Hill with a Wilmington address, while that same money might get you an outdated home somewhere else, like Landfall. Try to figure that out from listing photos and a couple of YouTube videos, and you can end up overpaying for an outdated home in a name brand's community, or missing out on a new construction deal in a spot that you may not have ever considered on your own. So call or text me at 910-218-817, or use the link below to schedule a call. Tell me your budget and what matters most to you, and I'll tell you exactly which of these communities or any of the other communities in our area might be a great fit for you. The story running through every neighborhood in this video is the same one. Age, condition, and price point decide what sells here, and location, not the name on the entrance sign. Every market creates opportunity. It just moves around, and it doesn't always show up where people are looking for it. Wilmington isn't a chase the trend, flip it market. People move here for the lifestyle, and that's what's driving demand. The buyers who understand where that demand is heading and shop accordingly tend to make decisions they feel good about for years, not just on closing day. I'm Kimberly Crouch with eXp Realty, your coastal relocation specialist, offering you authentic coastal luxury at every price point.